Now, so moving on from carrying on with car rentals. Talk to me about any horrific stories because a lot of people say, well, what if there's a crash or what if someone steals it? Like, I know you have things in place that prevent this, so just explain and elaborate to the people watching.
Okay, so yeah, so like generally, so if we start from the very beginning, like or the very basis, like Turo insurance is very good from my experience. It's very good. They will pay as long as it's easily provable. They will pay no problem. No problem. They're much easier to deal with than your own car insurance.
Wow.
Because everyone knows car insurance in this country is actually a scam. It's the thing you pay the most for and you get the least amount of value from. 100%, in my experience anyway. And they're really good. They pay out, and so you don't mind paying that fee to them. Me paying the Turo fee, the cut that they take, no problem. They provide really good security. And I'll explain about a story of why that sort of made me really think that they're great in terms of that. But yeah, so why was I saying that? Because
horrific story.
Yeah, horrific story. So this is back in the day when we had like just basically not small cars, but like 5 Series, 3 Series, 4 Series, and we did day rentals like 1-2 days. And we had loads of people would come and they'd look a bit dodgy and just like, oh, whatever. Like most people, as I said, on Turo don't have reviews. What can you do? And we've had loads of customers like that. They ended up being amazing, great, no problems, always bring the car fine. My thing is like, I don't care what you do with the car. This sounds bad. Obviously, I'm taking this to extreme level. If someone murders someone, uses my car to think them like, I don't care as long as nothing is thing with me. Like, okay, I can prove that it was rented to you. As long as the car comes back clean, it doesn't smell of smoke, it's not a mess, and it's not damaged. I'm cool. Obviously, okay, if someone murders someone, I'm being extreme. But still, I'm trying to make the point that there's just factors where what make a good customer a bad customer, and a lot of these people, they look dodgy and they're probably, I can see on the tracker just going around London, I know what they're doing, whatever, but they bring back the car. They'd always bring it back washed because they don't want any problems, stuff like that. So they bring it back washed, clean, not spilling anything. Be like, you know what, I don't, no judgment, these guys are actually great. They wouldn't be given any problems with price, things like that. They wouldn't say, they'd bring it back full of fuel, or if they didn't, they'd be like, yeah, I'll pay whatever to fill it up, blah blah blah. Anyway, I got booking for we had a 5 Series 530i, so it's again same as the 430i. It's like the 2-litre petrol but has more horsepower. It's a bit faster. It's really nice to drive. Someone rented it. They rented it from 10 p.m. and we had a lot of like late rentals around those times, and till 10 a.m. the next morning. I think I was just so busy, I didn't really notice that it was till 10 a.m. the next morning.
So literally 12 hours.
Literally 12 hours, but they pay full day rate, right? It's
yeah.
like one day. And so I don't know why I didn't question it, but again, because at that time we had so many people and I was like, no judgment, whatever. Do what you're gonna do, as long as you bring it back, you've paid full price. I don't care. Anyway, I check the next morning when it gets to 10 a.m. and I can check the track, he's not on the way. He's still in East London. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So I'm like, oh, shit.
What, do you have another booking coming?
I didn't have another booking, but I'm like,
I
kind of knew. I was like, 10 p.m. to 10 a.m. sounds a bit weird. Like, why would you, at least book a day? It's the same price for keeping the rest of the day. But yeah, so he wasn't thinking. I texted him loads of times. Anyway, Turo have a good policy where if they're more than half an hour late, you get half the booking price on top. They charge them. Yes. If they're more than 2 hours late, you get a full day extra. Nice. Great. So did that. You just have to tell them like, oh, if you're late past this time, you get fees, etc. Cool. Did. Anyway, it's like 12. I've told him that he's going to be charged. He's like, oh, I meant to book it till 10 p.m. And I was like, yeah, I kind of thought so, but too late. So bring it back now. Yeah. He was like, no. I was like, okay. So I called Turo. I was like, this guy's not thinking, he's not like being responsive. I can see where the car is. They were like, fine. What they'll do is they'll hand over it to their recovery service, and the recovery service will take over and try and get in touch with the person.
Do you have a mobilizer?
I do have a mobilizer, yeah. So I mobilized the car. But I could also see on the tracker, when I looked, when he hadn't brought it back, I saw on the tracker in the history of it, that he basically driving around in circles, like small circles, as in trying to do donuts and stuff like that, right? I'm like, so that's why I didn't let him extend it or anything. Yeah. And I was, Anyway, the recovery company called me. They're like, okay, they got in touch with him. They said that he's going to bring it back sometime in the evening, like early evening, because this is like in the afternoon now, right? By the time they got back to me, and he was like, it's a few hours. So there's no point sending out a recovery truck, but we'll wait till like 6 p.m. And if he doesn't, then let us know. Get in touch again. I was like, fine. He obviously doesn't move, and so by that time, I called them back. They're like, fine, we will go get it. But they have to like call the person or whatever, and they're like, they're going to be there in a few hours. They're going to come to your house to get the key and then thing. And meanwhile, like I try to call the guy, things like that. This guy is definitely like high on drugs or something, because what he's saying is like, he's basically saying threats and stuff like that to me and things like that. Because I was like, look, like if you don't bring it back, I'm just going to mark it as stolen by the police to the police, so that you don't drive anywhere. Because I don't know, you might, I don't know, not that if the cars are mobilized, but I don't know, you put it on a truck or something, or start taking it out of parts. I'm going to report to police. And then he got like, really angry with that. But he just sounded like dazed and drugs. I was like, oh God. So anyway, recovery guy turns up at like, I don't know, 12 midnight, 11:30, 12.
Wow.
And I'm like, shit, okay, can I go with you? He's like, yeah, sure. Right, and out the truck gets this like 6'5", lanky, like just hench built white guy, like proper white geezer. Yeah. And it turns out he had been in like the paramilitary, and he was in this because he'd been injured before from like doing so many parachute jumps and stuff like that. He'd been in the Marines, wherever the equivalent is here in the UK. And he was like, because I explained the situation to him. I was like, this guy is like cuckoo, sounds a bit dodgy, blah, blah. He was like, oh, no problem. If it causes any trouble, I'll just deck him. I was like, oh, this is fantastic. Looked up to my brother. I was like, this is great. We're in good hands. Like, I didn't want some like scrawny little guy to come there. Yeah. We go and get the car and he starts causing trouble, and we just lost. I'm like, great, because I don't want to start any fights. I'm not. But you want to go in and assess the situation. Exactly. I want to be in control. Actually
rented your car.
Exactly. And so, great. We go there. He's telling us on the way. Absolute legend. This guy. I can't remember his name, but he's just fantastic. He has like 5 or 6 daughters. And they all do completely different things. Like one's a doctor, one rides motorbikes and just keeps falling off them, and just things like that. Just crazy. Like they all sound completely different. And his life is just super interesting. He's telling us about his life the whole way there. So go all the way. Like you've come from Southeast, right? Yeah. You know how long it takes to get there, and this is even at night, and it still takes ages to get there. Yeah. Anyway, so he goes to the car. It's in the middle of like this estate, and there's again no judgment, but there's like. It's dodgy, as in like there's like people hanging around in the doorways that are just looking at us in this recovery truck with the orange lights on. Wow. And just attracting attention. There's like druggies like coming up to us, just doing their thing, and it's like eerily quiet as well. Okay. I'm like, shit, it's not a good situation. And where it is that recovery truck sort of couldn't get to it. It's like in the middle of the state. Yeah. So I'm like to my brother, let's go get it, right? So we have the key. We go find the car on the tracker. We get in it. And he's like, shit, lock the doors. Let's go. And I'm like, all right. And the car won't turn on. I'm like, oh, no. And it's immobilized. So I got to go on the tracker, and it takes a while to like go to the thing, put your password in, like unthing it. It's like 10 steps to do it, right? Yeah. I'm like doing this. I'm like, some guy, they probably know that we're coming and like waiting for us. Probably gonna like just, I don't know, attack us or something, because he was making it about it. And then I was like, shit, I did it, immobilized it, drove it. I'm like, yeah, let's just get out of it. So go out of here. I'm like, great. I'm with the guy now. I feel safer. And then he's like, we start to put it on the truck. And as I put it on the truck, because I didn't notice any damage from when I got in the car.
Oh, it's in the dark as well?
It's in the dark, but it was fairly lit. Like, I just didn't really notice much. The guy pointed out, he was like, oh, your grill's broken. He's like, look at that. Yeah, the front grill that you said you replaced. It's like broken. I was like, so because it's been pulled up like that, so you can sort of see it more. Yeah. And so I take a look at it. I'm like, oh, shit, it is. And it's like cracked in half. With like, he's like hit into something. And I start looking at more. There's basically that. It's cracked like the headlight a bit. The bonnet where the badge is dented in. Underneath the car is just shredded underneath from where it's been over bumps too fast, things like that. Like wheels and tires are just
he's really acted like he's never driven a BMW before.
I know, and it's like, come on, man, it's not like an M5 or anything. Like you're really that excited to drive in circles.
Was it 530?
5 Series 30. It's still 2 litre petrol.
Yeah. But,
okay, it goes a bit fast, but it's just the
he's
5 Series.
It's not
like,
that deep.
come on, man! Like, it's not Ferrari. Like, these people,
And
honestly,
he doesn't know when to brake and
and it's like you've crashed it. You're obviously maybe on drugs. Like, whilst you're driving it, like, is what you spend your money on? Like, you want to rent a car for a day to trash a car. Like,
so then, even so you returned it late, and I guess he's also responsible for the damages. Is that works with Turo?
Exactly, right? So anyway, so we take loads of photos, and it's really good because I take like 150 photos before and after the trip, right? And so I took loads of photos after as well there, and then when we got back in more light and stuff like that. Anyway, long story short, it ended up being total was about 12k in damage.
12k.
Yeah. So I took it to BMW. Straight.
Wow. That's how you know it's serious. You go straight to the main people.
I mean, straight to it because Turo were like, just get the quote and we'll pay, and it doesn't really matter where you go.
So then we might as well take it to the top.
Yeah, and I'm not paying anything. I'm going to pay. I think we have like a small excess.
Compared to 12k.
Exactly right, and it's like, well, I'm going to pay that either way wherever I take it, and I want it done as a good job. Also, I didn't know the full extent of the damage. So, for example, the original quote was like 8-9, and then they were like, upon further inspection, the headlight needs to be replaced. So I kind of wanted it to be from BMW because then it's like they can't argue with it. Like, where else can you go? That they're obviously not lying. So they did. It was great. Turo, like, I think they sent it to their insurance thing, and they just approved it, and they send the money to you, and then you get it fixed. So they send it to you straight away, and then it came back with the adjusted quote because they were like, "Oh, also needs this." Send that to them. They sent it. Was good. And the person that was dealing with it was super good, really understandable. He's like, "Yeah, no problem. You've done everything right. Like, obviously, a banned person. Blah blah blah." Also, we had to replace the key because he had the key. Key.
I guess you never saw him again.
I never saw him again, right? So he still has the key. So I'm like, oh, maybe he's gonna come back and like steal the car because he knows where it is. So I was like, you have to replace the locks and give us a new set of keys, which is like a lot for the manufacturer, right? So that added to the bill as well. So I guess it wasn't all damage, but it was a good few thousand to replace the locks, I think.
How long was it in repair?
I can't even remember. I think 2 weeks. It was quite a while.
Okay. I guess did that affect any bookings? I guess
it did. I think at that time we weren't getting too many bookings. And again, it's one of those things. Like, it's just been,
and that's the maddest situation. But
that's the maddest situation.
It's good, but one thing I've learned, it's good, but Turo seem really helpful. I mean, like you said, that actually are better than UK normal insurance companies. Like.
Yeah, and again, it's like, it's nothing on our insurance, doesn't affect our name or anything like that. You know, like if you're driving your car and then someone else hits into you, takes full responsibility, no problem. It's still on your record as insurance. Okay, not non-fault claim, but you still made a claim, and that's on your thing. You're seen as, when you go to your insurance will go up. So yeah, it's really good. I don't mind paying the 25% fee, no problem at all. I think the only problem with Turo fees is the fees they charge to the guest. They have quite high fees for the guest, and it's really random. Sometimes super high, sometimes it's not as high, sometimes it's double the price of the car. Really, really random. I have the same customer, same booking, book same time in advance, and they have 2 different fees. They're like, what the hell? They're coming to me like, what the hell was it so expensive? Like, it's not me. Excuse me. And that's the only thing I complain about in terms of price and fees. But in terms of their cut from us, like, usually that's where people think, oh, 25% is a lot, you know? I'm like, I'm happy to pay it because I've already got the money back from that, you know, no problem. So yeah, that's been great.
What do they do with the guy? Like, do they just block that? Or he doesn't at that point, you think?
He's obviously been banned. I actually asked them recently, Turo, they had like an event where we could ask questions and things, and I asked Turo what happens, because I know, so like with insurance companies, right, all insurance companies share the data on different people. So if you get banned from insurance or have insurance declined, other insurance companies will know. And I'm pretty sure car rental companies have the same. Like, established car rental companies have, you know, something where they share data. Obviously they get theirs from insurance companies as well. They probably have access to that. But where they ban people specifically from car rentals, they definitely share that info, right? I was asking if Turo are part of that, and well, the person asking didn't know. They said they're going to get back to me, but I think that they should, if they don't already, because like someone like that should be banned from all insurance companies, all car rental companies. But to answer the question, I don't know what happened to them, and to a certain extent, I don't care because they're banned from Turo. I know, so they're never going to come back to us. And I was paid out for that's Turo's responsibility or their insurance to try and get that back from the person, and if not, that's what because it's not Turo that pays you, right? It's their insurance provider that pays. And so yeah, they sorted that, so I don't really care.
Yeah, no, that's smooth. I've got some questions. Simply, what's the minimum age for your rentals?
So for our cars it's 25, and for one of the X5s it's 30 because it's a 3-liter one. For some cars in Turo you can be 21. Okay. Smaller cars. So a lot of people come to us, they're like 24. They're like, oh, I can't get it. Can you do anything about it? I'm like, no, because it's not actually my rule.
It's insurance. It's insurance, like
it's insurance rule, right? Yeah. But to be honest, it is a good rule to have. And I say like insurance is a bigger scam. It is. And I've always been one where, because I've been a young guy trying to get insurance on relatively expensive cars.
You're even younger with the age.
Yeah, exactly, right. So I can't even rent my own cars, right? If I was, which is funny. But trying to get insurance has always been expensive, right? Because based on stats, we're the most risky. And I've always been like, oh, so unfair, like blah blah blah, like even directly same age women have it better. It's just less expensive. But 100% the data is right. I can see it from who rents the cars. Like younger people, they're just way more irresponsible. They take it to like show off, do things like that. First one, I'm like, what are you doing? But anyway, they take to do that and like stupid things. Older people, like for example, if I get a booking for one of the X5s and they book car seats as an extra and airport delivery, best bookings ever.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're gonna leave a ton of crumbs in the back and footmarks on the back of the seat from the kids, stuff like that. I don't care. Yeah. I don't care. They're driving 60 on the motorway. They're driving nicely. Yeah. Something happens where it's happened before. They've curbed the wheel or done a bit of damage. They're like, let me know. I'll pay whatever. Yeah. Just invoice me. I'll pay whatever. They leave it dirty. They're like, oh, so sorry. Like my kids are in the back. They're like, let me pay for cleaning, something like that. They're trying to give money. I'm like, no problem. Like it's built into the price. Like I clean it. I'm gonna clean it before the next trip anyway myself because I'm really OCD about it. So no problem. I'll take that any day over younger people. Like it's stereotype, but not all young people have been like that. But just generally, the old customers are way better. Yeah.
Also, would you say you use Turo as well as a way to get bookings directly? So I'm guessing you might have some repeat customers. Turo have the fees, as you know. So would you say you do direct bookings as well? Is that something?
Not at all. So the problem is this. Again, a lot of people come to us on Instagram. All about social media and trying to boost the Instagram, which I do try. But the thing is, the more I promote on social media, the more inquiries I get from young people saying, oh, can I not do it directly with you, etc. Things like that.
I'll pay extra.
I'll pay extra. I'll give you 5K deposit and my passport. I'm like,
wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, because and they're like, oh, I'll get my own insurance, my own day insurance. I'm like, yeah, I don't care, because what happens if you go and steal the car? I'm gonna go and contact your insurance to say that you stole the car. So I'm gonna claim on your insurance that you yourself stole your own car. No. So it's just not gonna happen. And we've considered it in the past. When in like COVID times, we've been like almost dying. No rentals, no nothing. It's tempting. It's really tempting because these people are like, I pay double. I promise. I'll keep it well. They're gonna leave a huge deposit. Security. It's not worth it. 100%. It's not worth it. Because unless they leave, the only time I would say yes is if they leave a deposit worth the value of the car.
Oh wow.
Then I'm like, no problem, because then I'll just that's the value of the car, and I'll give that back to you after. But obviously no one's going to do that.
Yes.
And if they did, then okay, just go through Turo. Like, you'd rather leave 20, 30, 40K deposit than just go through Turo. Okay, that's probably because you can't get on Turo, because you've been banned from another car rental company, or you can't get insurance because you've crashed before. So in which case I don't want you anyway.
It's basically prevention's better than the cure. You rather prevent that from happening at all than
try and fix stuff.
Like doing it, you probably do well with direct bookings. You probably have a good run, maybe 10 in a row, 20 in a row, and that one will collapse it.
Yeah, it's true. And I mean, like this summer again, like we said, it's the type of car you put on. Like the X5s we have do really well. All the customers are great. Like it's not 1 in 20. Like we've never had any problem with any of the rentals on the X5s, the SUVs. And yeah, they're more expensive to run, more expensive to fix with issues. higher price to insure, and they do worse in low time. Whereas our other cars will sort of do not as good in summer, but they'll keep level in low time. You get people that take for the weekend, that live in the UK, or business customers, that are just driving around the UK or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're not going to rent a SUV for that. But yeah, to me, it's just worth it, not just for the price, even if you make the same money after everything. Yeah, just the customer service less headache.
Yeah.
They're nicer. They're really, like, a lot of them are super interesting to talk to. Like, they have crazy jobs. They're just really, really nice people.
Yeah, the networking must be great.
Yeah.
Next, I want to go on to is simply cool. Let's go through your journey of cars, like to just like that's been on the platform. Actually, how many is the fleet now? How big is the fleet?
So we have 4. We sort of go between because we'll try and sell them at the optimal time and try and buy the new ones at the optimal time as well, right? So we used to have more before, but we sort of sold them, and then it was low season, so we just sort of kept the cash and then bought sort of more expensive ones. Like those X5s, even though they're older, they're way more expensive than the newer 5 Series. They just hold their value like really well, and you can't really find high mileage ones either to try and get it at a lower price. So you're sort of putting 1.5 to 2 times the money in for just same one car. So a lot of people they're like, oh yeah, I'm just I have 20 cars, but they're all like 3 grand cars. And it's like that works, because we were talking about before about like
whatever strategy,
or like if I don't have the money to get in, right? But let's say you have the same value of cars, but I just have more cars and I have less. A lot of these people that do that also have jobs on the side, right? And I'm like, they're complaining about like the stress of having to run around. Like it's a lot more autonomous for them. They like to do the app unlock. And then
so that's a way to make it passive.
Yeah, to try and make it as passive they can, but it's not the same as like Airbnb. Like again, to get your car washed, you have to take it somewhere. It's not like Airbnb where you can give keys to a cleaner and they'll do it in between and you can just leave it. You can be in another country. If something happens to your car or something like that, like you have to go and organize it yourself. Things like that. These people tell me, they have jobs, like really good jobs as well. And they're trying to build this and they're just working all day. I'm like, but why would you not just then put your money into less cars that are more expensive and will cause you less problems and headache in terms of what to do on a day-to-day basis, and find one that would rent out and give you the same money back, because they do. But it's just more people have lower-end cars because barriers to entry, right? It's if you have more people have 5k spare than have 45k spare, right? Obviously. But if we're just talking about same value, I don't really understand why people don't do that. I'm not complaining because it's just there's not many people like me, less competition. But yeah, we have 4 at the moment. We have dabbled in somewhere, like again, because we're involved in the industry, we have people that we know that wanted to rent for like a year, right? Which we done like a little bit. But they were people that we knew and that are around us, and they're the kind of people that I would lend my car to and let them get the insurance anyway. Like not, it's forget rent or whatever. So that. So people are asking, where are the other cars? I'm like, well, some lower times I've put them on whatever rent. But yeah, we sort of switched to SUVs.
Have you ever considered taking in investors? Let's say someone's watching this. They're thinking, I've got a job, I'm too busy, but I got a car, or I can buy a car and give it to you and work with you. Is that something you'd be interested in?
Yeah, definitely. People do have to understand and be realistic about returns,
Because you're doing everything on the day-to-day.
We're doing everything on the day-to-day, and also, at the end of the day, it's a depreciating asset. It's not like you buy a property, and even if it goes bad, you sell it in a year's time, it's probably going to be the same or more. The car will be less. I mean, these past few years are an exception because the car price has been going up, but it won't stay like that forever, and so it will depreciate. And so the cost outlook is way different. And insurance, there's so many more costs. Insurance, tax, maintenance is a lot depending on the car. If someone was to invest, I would say, okay, look at our car history for these years. I'll show them all my spreadsheets and be like, this would be our take. I'd want to make sure that they knew everything first
beforehand. Like, this is how much I'm making on a rough. This is roughly how much I'm making. Exactly. This is how much I'll be looking to take. These are some of the problems I might run into.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
And a lot of people, they want to put on the car that they have already. And so it's not just,
They haven't gone into it, and they haven't gone for the optimal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
they're just like, this is my car anyway.
Yeah,
Whereas someone came to me, I'd be like, okay, let's buy this car. So I'd say also, I don't know how well that car would do. So like in downtime, I don't know what it's going to do. In the high season, I don't know what it's going to do.
So if someone was interested, they have to do it on your rules. So like, cool, I want you to buy this car from this place. We've already done. We spec that out. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, like I'll take it if it's a car that I think would do well anyway.
Yeah.
And I'd like to try.
Okay. Oh
yeah, 100%. Okay. I'll take it. Just we because I'm saying this because we've had a few, but then I've been like, this is what it will cost you. Yeah. And then they've been like, oh, I don't know, maybe because people are like, oh, I have a car.
It sounds good initially.
It sounds good. Yeah. Let me just put it on. What can I lose? Like, yeah, but you know what I find on a day-to-day basis, general people don't understand the cost of businesses. You know, when like people go to a restaurant, they're like, why is this kind of Coke £3? Like, I bet they buy it for 20p. Yeah, but you know how much that person cost to bring it to you there? That person's on £10 an hour. They took however many minutes to think you. The rent for the business, like you're eating in a restaurant in London. Yeah, right. So what do you expect?
There's also service
there's everything. There's so many costs to do it, and that business is like, then takes the risk of, okay, when it gets to times like COVID, okay, bye. They're no longer existing.
They're not even thinking about the restaurant. They're not even thinking about the rent they have to pay. That's
exactly
gone out their head.
But most people have normal jobs. They say, okay, I do this amount of time for this monthly salary, and I guarantee that every month. It's way different. So I'm just saying that generally, because what I find is that people don't understand the costs to business. Like people say, oh, like so expensive to rent a car, and it's like, okay, yeah, but here's the cost. Like to keep a well-maintained car, where no, I can't buy it brand new. We can't buy it brand new. This is what the cost is. So and then people go, oh, actually, I never thought about that. And it's the same for people. To answer your question, like when they want to invest, they don't think about the same things as well.
That's okay. That's interesting. So let's say someone's now watched this and they're motivated and they want to get started. Let's 5 tips to get started with Turo. And actually, before I get onto that, I don't know, do you sell any courses on teaching people how to run a car rental? Because that's another revenue stream for you that can just add to your own lifestyle and whatnot.
It's true. You know what? I've never actually thought about these courses because I know that YouTube is a good thing to do, right? It can lead to so many different avenues, and just not that you make money, like, because you don't make any money in the beginning, but it's just good to do to expand yourself and your network, get it out there, and just if you put proper effort into YouTube and you have information that people find valuable, you will be rewarded for it, which is fair marketplace. And so I've always been like, well, let me do YouTube properly first, and then then I can do courses whenever people want them. Like before I even made that YouTube video, I was like, so nervous. Like everyone is making the first YouTube video, like, who the hell wants to do this? And the only thing that pushed me is the fact that I had been doing that research before I started, and there was nothing. So I was like, you know what, this could be valuable for someone.
Someone is in your position a few years later.
Exactly. Like whether people hate me or not, like someone will find this valuable. It's worth a try. I'm not just making a video about something. I don't want to say fiction or something, but some random thing. It's actually like people would be searching for it. It's a business thing. And so to be honest, I have to put more time and effort into that. I'm a big believer in, okay, I'm super busy all day, but everyone has time to do something that they want. Even if every single hour of your day is taken up, okay, but you've just prioritized different. You can take that hour and not do that, and instead do this. I can film a video and edit it in like that hour. I should be doing that. For me, it's a lot of creators have this problem with motivation for YouTube, things like that, especially when nothing's coming from it. Like no money's coming from it, right? You're just doing it for this long-term goal. And so I need to do more of that. And people have asked me loads of questions. I said I'll answer them. Like answer some questions in the comments. I'm happy to help people, but a lot of the time I'm like, okay, that's a really good question that I can make a video from. That's a great video idea. But I don't make the videos, and I need to, and I should. So before I get to making courses, I'm going to put more effort into that.
Videos first. I like that honest answer. And I think just some tips to you, since you talk about car rentals, while you're making a long journey, have a camera recording. So while you're making that journey, you're shooting as well. So that two birds, one stone.
Yeah.
It's not like you're taking time out of your day. It's just have it mounted on a one screen, and that can be. And since you just know what you're talking about, you can just do it off the dome or do it from experience. So that can be a way to get videos out quicker. And since you talk about car rentals, shooting a video in a car makes the most sense.
It's true. Do you know what? When in January I went to Thailand for like 6 weeks and like a really nice long holiday, which is great. And it was like downtime anyway, so the car rentals were dead because you have to blast through those times. It was still COVID, and so I was like, let me vlog every day and just do it. It's a completely different country, because it is basically vlogging if I was to do that with a car, because I'd be driving somewhere, doing somewhere, vlogging what I'm doing. And loads of people are really good at it and actually good at it. I'm not saying they're bad at it, but it is a scary thing to do, right? People look at you strange, and it's much more common than it was before. But it's an uncomfortable. You're putting yourself outside your comfort zone, which is great, but something that you have to push yourself to do. And so I was like, okay, let me start on my holiday, because it's great. It's like everyone wants to see like vlogs from like Thailand and stuff like that. Like even if they don't do much, like I love to watch them, right? It's like we're sitting in rainy UK. I mean the weather's nice now, but sitting in rainy UK, you love to watch that kind of stuff. So let me do that. I did that. I'm actually still editing the videos from that, all the vlogs. But I really should video my day-to-day more, because I know that people would find it interesting, because I would if I was watching someone. I mean, I watch so many YouTube videos. Like I don't watch Netflix and stuff like that. I literally just watch YouTube, because even if it's of someone's day, they could be doing nothing much, but it's really interesting to watch. And I feel like it's always beneficial. Like you gain an insight into someone else's life. It changes your attitude. It helps you put yourself into other random people's shoes, whether they're doing well or not. It really helps widen your perspective. And so I think I'm gonna do it. If anyone is this gonna go on YouTube?
Yeah, of course.
So everyone, if people like hit up my YouTube and like really want it,
come on. How many subscribers are you on now?
I don't know. I stopped checking. A couple hundred. To me, it's like it's zero. Because until it's like something decent, significant, to me it's zero. Whatever. I'm not making it for that, right? I'm making it to make videos, to become better at making videos, to put the information out there, to grow. But it's more like if people really want them from me and to see that, then I will.
Let's get on 10,000, man. Let's check them out. Actually, I don't know why it took me so long to answer this question. I must have slipped my mind. But how much does one car make, roughly? Like, or one of you, if you can go into that?
Okay. So let's break it down. So again, like it's hard to say, like when people come to sort of invest in us, they're like, what's your returns of year on year? I have to explain the whole thing about like, well, we actually haven't had a year yet that I can really use. It's not really fair to base it on that. And then it just sort of sounds like excuses and stuff like that. And I hate that. But, a car, let's say, okay, in summer season, one of our X5s goes for around 200 a day. Turo fees are 25%. And I'll do a discount of like 15% for 3+ days and 20, 25, 30% for like 7+ days. So people can do the math on that. And most of our rentals are about 5 to 10 days. So, from one of those rentals, you make around 1,000, couple of those. And, if people look up the prices of cars and then, how many times that to make the money back on the car. But then insurance, like for example, those SUVs have really, really high insurance. Insurance is, I don't know specifically say a number, but it's a lot. Even just for, I tried to check it for like just my dad's name, because he's like, middle-aged man, perfect driving history, they're still really expensive on him. Obviously with me on it's way more, but they're still really expensive when I compare to like someone say, oh, their insurance is like £300. I'm like, I've never heard of them. I've never seen that number before in terms of insurance. So those costs are really high, and it comes with the better earning car. To fix them, SUVs, a lot more to fix, 100%. Like just more stuff goes wrong, and to fix that big parts, bigger tires, more general, the service bills are higher. To be able to get to things, the labor cost is higher because they're takes them more time because there's so much more stuff to go through to be able to find that thing. You know, they're all four-wheel drive. They have air suspension in the back, which is a big problem. You know, things like that people don't think of. So it comes with higher costs. So I say, okay, it takes that amount of however many rentals to make the money back. But you know, it is more than that. And yeah, when it comes to like down season, like you're still paying monthly amounts. We actually had a good rental last year that sort of did really well. So it was in a bit of downtime, so end of 2021. And someone just wanted it. They were working for a sort of movie studio, and they sort of work with other movie studios, and they do like logistics, like they source cars and things like that. Like if they want a car for a TV show, movies, things like that. So they wanted the car, and they wanted to take it to Czech Republic to film a TV show for Amazon, and they were making it seem like London.
Yeah.
I don't know what the TV show was. He couldn't tell me then, but I need to contact him now to ask what it was and like if it's aired or not. I don't know. But yeah, he paid a really, 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 really good rate. And obviously there's a lot of mileage to drive there and back, but really when it was there, it wasn't a lot. And that really helped us last year. They paid a lot of money for that rental. Yeah, to do that filming. And it was cool to be to be filmed on, even though I need to find out what it was in.
Yeah.